Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back to another episode. This one's going to be a little different than a normal reaction video because this one is about a current thing that's taking place right now. And you may have heard about it, you may not have heard about it, but it is in all of the news right now. And you see the headlines about Indonesia's new sex laws and what is that going to do to tourism. And believe it or not, that's actually not even the whole story.
Yeah.
They have changes to their criminal code that are taking somewhat effect on December 15th, where things are going to change quite drastically in that country. So you should be aware of it if you're thinking of traveling to Indonesia. And also, what does this mean for the Philippines and for their tourism business? So of course the media is focusing on, well, sex, right? That's what makes people click on articles, what sells newspapers, as they say. You know, everybody wants to put that out there. But there is actually quite a bit more in there that should be concerning to those who might go there. Maybe it won't be concerning to you, but you should probably be aware of it. First and foremost, that's going to affect tourism to a place like Bali, is that they are going to ban sex outside of marriage. This won't just affect people that live there. This is going to affect tourists as well. And the punishment is up to 1 year in prison. It goes actually even further than that. Say, for example, that you and a roommate of the opposite sex want to go to Bali and rent an Airbnb together that just has, you know, one bed, or actually it doesn't even need to have one bed. It says
One bedroom.
cohabitation.
Oh.
So you cannot live with somebody outside of your family that you are not married to.
Yeah.
And so you won't be able to do that anymore, where you have two different genders going to Bali, renting an Airbnb, and splitting the cost. The cohabitation will also have a 6 months prison term if you're caught cohabitating.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's a big deal, because if you know Bali, you know that you get all kinds of digital nomads. They all go down there and they will bunk up with other people.
Yeah, it's cheaper. Who doesn't share a hotel room or something? Or if you're getting an Airbnb, you usually get it with a group of people,
Yep.
depending on the size of the Airbnb.
Yep.
And usually it's co-ed, right?
Exactly.
Like nobody
Nobody
polices
thinks
that
anything of it.
normally.
And so that's a big deal, obviously. So now you're talking about 6 months of prison time for cohabitation unless you are married or in the same family. So
Yeah.
that's a big deal, and it should probably impact their tourism industry pretty hard, I would think.
I think it's a lot of vacationers. A lot of vacationers obviously go to Bali. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of them are single,
Yeah.
ready to mingle.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Single and ready to
or
mingle,
at
definitely.
least dating. You know, a lot of people be like, okay, we're gonna, as like a couples thing, we're gonna go to Bali
Yep.
for vacation.
Not to mention how many singles go to a lot of Southeast Asian countries, you know, trying to find a future partner, a future
Yeah,
wife, or
that's
whatever.
true.
And now it's, yeah, you can date, you can go to restaurants, you can do those kind of things, but you cannot cohabitate at any point, and you cannot have any sex, obviously, until you're married. So this is a big deal to tourism. But that aside, I think that's all pretty obvious to everyone that that's a big change.
Yeah, especially for tourism. That's
yeah.
why everybody's talking about it in the sense of like, because most of us aren't Indonesian. A lot of us aren't.
No,
I'm not.
I'm not.
He's not, you know? And so we only see it from a tourist perspective, and that's where a lot of the articles are coming from. And there's a lot of things that are like, yeah, that's just killed tourism. and all
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Especially from Australia. Australia is the number one country
That visits
yeah,
Bali?
that visits Bali. Because it's
Oh.
such a short flight. So
Right,
it
right.
makes
And
sense.
Bali is in Indonesia, guys. Just in case you didn't know.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
case, because some
Yeah.
people didn't realize it.
No, yeah, like we saw online, a lot of people are like, yeah, but I don't know anything about Indonesia. Why do I care?
Yeah, and then they're like Bali.
and
And
then
they're like,
wait,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, but there actually
Yeah,
is
there's more. There's more.
to that law that really isn't all about sex. So when you go to Reuters, which Reuters is a news service that all the news take the clips from and provides all the content
Articles,
for
yeah.
everybody, where their title is not about the sex, it says, why is Indonesia's new criminal code so controversial? So this is a little bit different where, yeah, They have the sex before marriage being banned. They do have the cohabitation being banned. But the laws actually have much more than that.
Question. Is the criminal code like equal to Canada's Bill of Rights?
No, Canada's
Or-
a criminal code also. It says
So
what are the
what-
laws and what aren't the laws.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's just everybody.
Yeah,
it's not like Constitution.
The laws,
it's
yeah, when you have a constitution, it just says no law can
override
override
that.
the
Oh, okay.
human
Okay.
rights, yeah.
But still, like the criminal code is.
Yeah, the criminal code is it. Like that's
yeah.
what sets the legal age to drink. That's what sets the legal
Yeah,
age to have
yeah.
sex. That's
Okay.
all that.
I was just wondering because I'm like, how high on the totem pole is it
Yeah.
ranked?
Well, very few
in
countries,
law?
like even Canada, has their Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
Charter of Rights.
But they are not the same as like a constitution. So they constantly do get overridden all the time.
Yeah.
So it isn't hard etched like the
Yeah, it's
Constitution
not
is.
in, like,
so many
stone.
countries, the human rights side of it, the laws still can supersede them. So it's not the same everywhere.
All right. I was just wondering.
Yeah. So the next part that is really, really important here is they've added articles in there that ban the insulting of the president or state institutions. So you can't even insult the current president. You can't go on Twitter and just say this
Start roasting
person's
him,
doing
yeah.
a horrible job. This
Yeah.
person is terrible. You know, you can't even say those kind of things. That will get you into a lot of trouble. You can't say, oh, the healthcare in this country is terrible because that's a state institution. You can't say something about public transportation or anything that's run by the state. I'm not sure exactly what's run by the state as
right.
opposed to local level, Indonesia. But yeah, you cannot insult them in any way or shape or form.
And then it goes to like what is considered an insult. Because some things can be constructive criticism, but some people can take them as insults.
Yeah.
And so it kind of like, what is the freedom of speech at that point?
Exactly.
A
yeah.
little bit.
In most countries, you're allowed to say somebody's doing a terrible job. You can call them names. You can do anything once they're elected to power. That's a pretty standard thing that you're allowed to at least just say you're angry at them or say that you don't think they're doing a good job in any way, shape, or form because you have your own freedom of expression. So your own way of saying it. You can say it with swear words or you can say it by name calling or whatever.
Yeah.
In most countries.
Paint a picture.
Yeah, you can paint pictures, make posters. You can do whatever you want. Exactly. And that otherwise, how are you supposed to? You're supposed to just internalize it and then get angrier and angrier. There is a purpose for that. When you take away those freedoms of things, then people bottle it up, and then it only gets worse, in my opinion. So.
Yeah.
It's a big change. This law against insulting the president, which also, by the way, includes the vice president, which carries a jail sentence, get ready, up to 3 years in prison.
Yeah.
Can you handle 3 years in
Well,
an Indonesian prison?
Probably not. I mean, if it's like a Norwegian prison or the ones that have like the really nice, like it's basically a studio apartment,
It's
then
not.
I would be like, you know what? Okay.
I'm going to
Everything
guess
else,
it's like a Philippines
everything
prison.
else, I'm going to be like, probably I'll take a pass.
I would take a hard pass.
Yeah.
How it's going to work is it's complaint based. So it can only be triggered by the office holders themselves. So therefore, Johnny Neighbor can't just call the police and said, I heard them complain about the president or
he
say
was
something
talking
bad about
some
him.
smack.
Right? And the police will show up and arrest him and take him away. No, you would have to write to the president and say, Johnny said this about you. And then the president would have to decide to come after you.
Yeah.
But you can imagine how this would affect when there's an election coming up. That's the current president that's also running for president, and you want to run against them. You can't speak badly about them at all, and he can imprison you if you do.
Yeah. Good luck trying to debate him.
Oh,
because
yeah.
mid-debate, he's just going to be like, he said it. Bring him out.
What's that meme? Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
What's that meme?
Oh, I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember that meme.
You undercook fish, believe it or not, jail. You overcook chicken, also jail. Undercook, overcook. You make an appointment with the dentist and you don't show up, believe it or not, jail right away.
You're straight to jail, straight to jail. It was like a Venezuelan sort of thing. I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, joking
That's
aside,
really,
you can see how that could be a really bad thing and it can be abused dramatically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another one is under the code will be blasphemy, will be illegal. And so people can be prosecuted for expressing their views contrary to the Indonesian national ideology. So that affects peaceful protesting without authorization and for just saying things that they consider blasphemy, and they get to decide that.
Wow.
Yeah. So that
That's crazy.
is all going to be changed, I should say, not
Yeah.
introduced. It's going to be changed in the criminal code. It's supported by all the parties there.
Yeah, everyone supported it.
So it's
I
going to happen
think-
on December 15th. Many of these things, I'm sure they'll be right there with the one you're not allowed to talk against the president or something really quick. But they say that there are other things on how they're going to enforce it, working out all the small details, can take up to 3 years before fully implemented. So who knows,
Yeah.
but you should keep that in mind. But I wouldn't cancel your ticket to Bali next week or
Yeah, if
anything.
you're going on vacation, I think
You're going to be okay.
Oh yeah, and for the sex part, you can only be reported by like a family member or
That's
the
right.
spouse. So that's for the adultery part. So if you have a spouse and you cheat on them, they can report you and you could go to jail for a year. But it's like a family or like a child or a neighbor, they can report you if you're cohabitating with someone you're not married to. I don't know if they will really care about like the foreign tourists or not, 'cause they don't. They say it like the law affects the tourists,
Yep.
but like, what does that mean? Does it really? Or like, like, will I be arrested? I won't. I'm good.
Yeah, we're married.
We're good.
That's the joke in all of this. Get ready. Tickets are going to get a lot cheaper for married couples.
Yeah.
Because now all the single people are going to be like, hell no.
Yeah, we're gonna have a great.
It does say, exactly, that they watered down the bill. The original part of the bill did not say this, but now it says that it has to be reported by a family member that is affected in some way. But it also does say that foreign tourists also apply to this. So when you read it that way, it's like, okay, wait a minute. If you're both foreigners, then there's no person to complain? Again, it's going to take 3 years for them to hammer out those details, up to 3 years, before it's officially fully into effect.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
They give an example as well. They're like, okay, well, think of it like this. Let's say an Australian tourist has a boyfriend or a girlfriend who is a local. And then it's like, then the local parents or the local's brother, sister, parents, neighbors report it to the tourism police or to just the police. Then the tourist will be in trouble.
Yes.
Or like,
Well,
then there
actually,
might
they
be a
might
problem.
both. Why wouldn't they both be?
Well, they would both, obviously.
Yeah.
But then, like, that's when the tourists would get in trouble, as opposed to if it's just two foreign tourists.
Yeah. By the way, we are not saying the law won't affect two foreigners.
It might.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I don't know.
It's
I don't know.
difficult when you read it that way. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, if these are the only people that can complain,
If it's complaint-based
yeah.
and I don't know anybody in Bali, am I good? Or, like, can the person who owns the hotel, do they have to report it? Because it's like, yeah, so I have two unmarried people staying in a room here.
Yes.
Because would they not get in trouble?
Well,
if they allow it?
Yeah, with the
know?
details that'll be hammered out. I am almost positive they'll have to put something in there that says a hotel that knowingly rents out a room to two people who are unmarried will also serve some jail time, that kind of thing.
If they're trying to like keep it everywhere. So yeah, it's really interesting. It says it'll like take up to 3 years.
Yes.
So it's not like
But
an
it also
immediate
says the criminal code will be changed on December 15th.
Yeah.
Very, very unusual.
And it's really hard because there's so much different information like out on the internet right now, and most of it is just about the sex.
Yes.
Right? So like
True.
the unmarried, like the
part
sex
anybody
before
seems to care
marriage.
about.
But it's like, what else does that mean? Like, what about the blasphemy aspect? What about the like Indonesian people? You know? So it's really hectic, it seems.
Yeah.
Because it's like.
So you should be wary. You should be worried about this kind of
Yeah.
thing. Be very, very careful. But like I said, on the flip side,
If
I think that
Boracay-
will push a lot more tourists to South Asian countries that are around it, like
Yeah.
the Philippines.
Yeah.
And I think it could be very good for this country.
If
That's for sure.
Boracay wasn't already busy enough, it'll get 10
It'll
times
get busy.
busier.
Yeah, exactly. So boyfriend and girlfriend, or people who are engaged that want to come on a
Yeah.
vacation, you can't technically do that in Indonesia. Well, you're going to end up coming here.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
All
I mean,
right.
the
Well,
Philippines is pretty-
hopefully you guys subscribe so we can hit that 100,000 mark
Yeah.
very, very soon. Cost you nothing. Come on, click it. And thanks for joining us.
Thank
Please put
you.
any comments you have down below.
Yeah,
Love
what
to
do you
hear
think
what
about
you guys
this?
think about this.
Are you guys were you guys planning to go to Bali? Do you know anybody in Indonesia? What do you think?
Yeah, would this change your mind? So
Yeah.
very interested to know. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow, isn't this the most beautiful place on earth?
It's so nice. Oh my goodness.
And look at how many families